Hello, my YouTube family. Well, it is Wednesday. I was almost going to say it was Thursday. Almost there, Nancy. Almost there. Wednesday, November 19th. November 19th, people. 2014. And let us get started. I need to take this off of my lips really quickly. But before I do, of course, I'm going to tell you what it is. The liner that I am using is MAC Night Moth, lined perfectly, by the way, perfect match. And I am using a MAC. And this is in the color, I don't know if y'all see that, Living Legend. And as you can see, it is a matte. It's one of the dark purples that I haven't had the opportunity to review, and I'm finally reviewing it. This is it. It's got a touch of a red undertone underneath there. Thank you, God. And that is Living Legend. I have 1,000 lipsticks that look just like it. Not all of them are matte, though. Thank God. I think Kittenish is the exact thing, but I think Kittenish is an amplified, or it could be a satin. But it's similar to this shade. This is a matte. And, you know, I really need to stay away from MAC mattes because their mattes are like no other. I don't know what kind of formula they put in these things that suck out the moisture of your lips. Yes, Nancy has Carmex underneath, but still, it didn't help. It helped for a little while. It did help for a little while. And then the Carmex seems to vanish and the lipstick penetrates your lips and dries it out. So this is Living Legend. There you go. That's it, people. That's Lips of the Day. Today was a rather interesting day as far as like cutie, and there was a hunk of a man. A hunk of a man who works with Cintas, and the Cintas company, they come and they check our computers. They're not necessarily computers, but they check out our inventory with all sorts of stuff. Well, the regular guy must have been out on vacation or is no longer working there or what have you. And this dude came to the door. I was like, who is this fine looking specimen? And he came in and he was talking about, you know, your regular guy won't be here for a while and I'm taking over and this and that. And all this time, I'm just looking at his gorgeous eyes. He's got those Michael Ealy eyes, just like sexy eyes. His are even sexier. And just a hunk of a man, just big and brawny. Not fat, but just big and brawny. Tall. And I made him sign in. I gave him a visitor's pass and everything. And when someone from Human Resources came to pick him up, as he was walking out the door, you know, I have to check the hands. Because if there's a wedding band, then I have to check the hands, you know. Yes, there was a wedding band. Instant deflation. As if I was going to do something, whether there was a wedding band or not. If there wasn't a wedding band, Nancy, what were you going to do? Nothing. But I have to tell you this. He put the visitor's pass around his neck and he went on his way. And then when it was time for him to leave, the person at the Human Resources and him stopped at my door, at the glass door, so I could see outside. And then he was like, bye. And he was walking toward the elevator. And then I realized he still has the visitor's pass around him. So I had to run out and I called out his name because I remember what he signed in as. Called out his name and I said, your visitor's pass, I need it back. And he said, oh, I'm so sorry. And he gave it back to me. Now I'm looking dead in his eyes and he looked dead in mine. And I was like, thank you. Have a good day. And he goes, yeah, you have a good day too. I was like, oh, if only you were single. Because I know there was a connection there, people. It's not in my head. there was a bit of a spark, but it came as quickly as it left because he's married. But it was there. I felt it. I know he felt it too. So, my lot in life, people. My lot in life. But that was that story. Then, you know, Cutie and I were talking, this, that, and the other, like we normally do. There was an IHOP commercial. And it was like almost close to lunchtime. It's like 1:30. And he was like, damn, I wish I could have some IHOP now. And I said, yeah, right? He goes, there's nothing that beats having breakfast for dinner. I said, you are so right. Going to IHOP, you have to go to IHOP to have breakfast, even if it's 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. He goes, yes, you have to go to IHOP just to have breakfast. And I said, yes. And I said, so what is your dish of choice? He goes, the IHOP sampler. And I said, that's 2 of everything, right? There's 2 hot dogs, 2 pancakes, 2 sausages, 2 eggs. And he goes, yeah, that one. And I said, oh, okay. And he said, well, what do you normally have? I said, I usually go for the crepes. And he goes, you know, I've never had the crepes. I said, oh, you have not lived until you've had crepes from the IHOP. They make crepes like nobody makes crepes. At least that's from the United States. The crepes in Paris, those are that's a whole other experience. So he said, you know, I got to try the crepes. I said, yes, you do. I said, you could go for the crepes with the lemon butter. Now, I said, they have the crepes with the orange sauce, the orange marmalade sauce. There's like French crepes and German crepes. You have to decide which one you want. I said, the crepes, they taste the same, but they'll give you a different, you know, like a different covering, a different, you know, sauce or butter or whatever, depending on what you ask for, either German or what did I just say? The German crepes or the French crepes. So he said, yeah, I got to try those. I said, you haven't lived until you ate the crepes. I said, you can have pancakes any day. You got to try the crepes. And he was like, now I feel like going to IHOP having some crepes. I was like, well, can't help you there. So we were talking. And throughout the day, again, let's hang out with Nancy. But this time, that guy that I was telling you about yesterday, who he must have realized that he was hanging around me too long, because he did not visit me today. I was quite happy about that. But now, remember I spoke about, those of you who've been hanging on with me for a while, remember I spoke about the computer dude? I think he was called Computer Guy or Computer Dude. I don't remember if I gave him a name. Computer Dude. I think it was Computer Dude. And, you know, I was telling you that, you know, he's nice and everything, but sometimes he comes by too often, and sometimes, you know, he just, well, today, I guess I was in a very generous mood today of talking to everybody. He came by, and we were talking about Fast and Furious movies. I have seen all of them. Okay, so has he. So we were talking about the comparison, and he goes, you know, we have to look up the Fast and Furious because they don't really go all in order. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, I think the first one is really the last one. I said, okay, see, you doing that Star Wars BS on me now. He goes, no, I'm not joking. There's a couple or one that is out of sequence. So of course I had to Google it, and he was dead right. The Tokyo one was filmed in 2006, and the Fast and Furious 6 was filmed in 2013. However, they showed the Fast and the Furious first, and they gave the Tokyo after it, so it's supposed to go storyline. So I was like, okay, you know your stuff. He goes, yeah, I knew there was one that was out of sequence or something. He goes, now I'm waiting for the 7. I said, yeah, I'm waiting for the 7 too, but it's going to be a little bittersweet. He goes, yeah, because, you know, Paul Walker is no longer there. And, you know, they had to finish the film with a double. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be really bittersweet. So we were talking about that. And then as we're talking, he goes, oh, you know what? I had to check something for your computer. So he had to go underneath to check out all the wires. So I had to back up. I backed up and I was still sitting in my chair, but I just backed up and he and I are talking, but from the outside, it looks like I'm talking to myself because nobody could see who I'm talking to. So here come Cutie. He came in and he started laughing. And he goes, "You doing it again?" I said, "What?" He goes, "You're talking to yourself." I said, "No, there's somebody, computer guy is doing something." He goes, "Well, you know what it looks like when you," I said, "Okay." And the computer guy was like, "What? What is going on up there?" I said, "See, Cutie has a tendency of when he wants to talk to me, he'll go away from the glass doors and where people can't see him. So when we're having a conversation, it looks like I'm talking to myself because nobody can see who I'm talking to." So everybody had a good laugh about that. Ha ha, he, all right with the world. But the computer guy was still there and we were talking. And Cutie realized, okay, he stepped into the middle of a conversation. And Cutie, first of all, doesn't like to talk with me, with anybody else around. He just wants me and him, and that's it. So when he realized, okay, computer guy ain't going nowhere, he said, "You know what? I'll talk to you later." I said, "Well, wait a minute. Did you see all the Fast and Furious movies?" And he goes, "I saw all of them, but the first one." I said, "For real?" And then computer guy goes, "Really?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, I guess I need to see the first one." I said, "Yes, you need to see the first one." And then I explained to him that the Tokyo one goes after and he's like, "Yeah, I guess I have to see them all again." I said, "We all have to see them all again because, we're not going to remember because Fast and the Furious 7 is coming out in April of next year." So we're like, "Yeah, we have to catch up on all of them. And we have to see and how they go in chronological order and this, and that." So when computer guy was done doing whatever he needed to do outside of under the computer under my desk, we thought, well, Cutie and I both thought that he was going to leave. He did not leave. So Cutie was like looking at him and looking at me and looking at him, and he's like, "You know what? I'm going to go." I said, "You can join in on the conversation." He goes, "Nah, I got work to do. I'll see you later." So I was like, "Okay." So me and computer guy was still talking. And computer guy is very nice, and he kind of sort of almost gives me the signals that he's interested in me, but he's got a girlfriend, and he's mentioned her on a number of occasions. So why are you giving me what I feel like are signals, but yet you have a girl, and I ain't gonna be your side thing? So nip that in the bud. And plus, he's also a youngin', but he's about 36, 35, 36, somewhere around there. So he's not too young, and he's cute. But you got a girlfriend, so that cock blocks the whole damn situation. So, and off he went. So then, later on, like right after computer guy left, about an hour later, here comes another coworker who I am getting quite interested in as far as conversation is concerned. He's got a mind. He's very, very intelligent, like to the point of being a nerd. Like you would think he's a nerd kind of a thing because he's got glasses and he's kind of he's not a pocket protector kind of a nerd, but he's very intellectual, and that turns me on like nobody's business. So lately we've been talking about, like, he'll pick up on something on CNN and then we'll start talking about it and debating about it, and he'll say what he has to say, then I'll say what I have to say, and then we kind of meet in the middle. So we've been doing this since last week, but today, and we've only been doing it like for the amount of time that he could stand it because he has to go back to his desk. But today he stayed at my desk for at least 2 hours, and we were debating about science and earth and nature and DNA and religion versus science. We were talking in depth about all sorts of things. I mean, the conversation was going strong. And I said it before, and I really have to shut up because I don't want him to think that I'm after him. But I said, "See, this is why I like talking to you, because I am attracted to your mind." And he smiled, but I hope I didn't scare him off. Well, I said it before, and if he was scared, then he wouldn't have bothered to stick around a second time. But I said it again. And I don't want him to think that I'm giving him hints like I'm after him, like, you know, you're the kind, you're my type. I'm not after him, but I love his mind. I love the way it works. I love, he's very astute, and he's very comprehensive, and he'll listen to the stupidest thing that can come out of my mouth. He'll listen to what I have to say. He'll know what I really mean, and he'll take me to that part of the conversation. It's fascinating to talk to him. It really is fascinating to talk to him. He's an intellectual person. Now, mind you, as far as looks are concerned, not my cup of tea. I'm not saying he's ugly or anything. He's not physically attractive physically attractive to me. But you know, he's tall. He's got the height that I'm interested in. But I would only be interested in him as I can't say study buddy, but a person that I just enjoy talking to. I just enjoy talking to him. And I'm not seeing him like, it could happen, but I'm not seeing him, at least yet. I'm not seeing him like I'm attracted to him because of his mind. It could happen. It could happen. The guy that I was living with for 7 years, that's how it started, because I like to talk. Plus, he had an awesome sense of humor. Whereas this particular coworker, he has a sense of humor, but it doesn't come out. He's not serious, but he's not a jokester. He's more serious intellectual, not a snob, but he's more serious intellectual. And, you know, he knows law because I think he's a paralegal. I'm not really sure. But he knows, I mean, we could talk about the law and he can break it down like nobody's business. I could give him something like, well, why doesn't this happen? And why doesn't Congress do this about such and such and so and so? Why don't they have a law about this? And then even though we work in a law firm that doesn't deal with that kind of law, like Congress and presidential, and it's not that kind of law, he knows about that kind of a thing, because you could just tell he's got his head in a book all the time. I have never seen him read a book, but I'm sure he's the type of person that likes to read. So we were talking from like 3 until 5:30, and then at 5 o'clock, like 10 to 5, here comes Cutie. And we are going at it. And he walked in, and it's almost like I think he felt intimidated by the conversation that we were having. And I didn't mean, I would never want to intimidate somebody by making them feel lesser than, but he had that look in his face like, this is a conversation I can't get involved in. And he stayed there for a little bit to listen to what we had to say. And we both looked at him like, you can join in on the conversation. And he's like, no, I gotta, I'm just picking up this stuff and I'm going. He said, have a good night. And I said, have a good night. And coworker said, have a good night. But I looked at his face, and it was the look of, wow, you know, they are talking about something over my head. When I'm thinking to myself, coworker, this particular coworker is talking about stuff over my head, but I am doing my best to keep up with the conversation, not to impress him or anything, but to keep up with the conversation. I mean, I don't want to look like I'm totally stupid, but I want him to see that I'm making an effort to be on the same level so he doesn't have to talk down and dumb the conversation down for me. I want to excel in the conversation. I don't want him to dumb it down for me. So we were talking about, I mean, a spectrum of things. I mean, we ran the gamut from, like I said, from science to the earth to politics to religion to, I mean, the gamut. So finally, when it was 5:30, I'm like, I have kept you here until it's time to go. He goes, nah, I stayed here because I just really didn't even want to go back, and we're having a conversation. I was like, it's time to go though. And he's like, yeah, it's time to go. So, you know, it was like 5:33 by the time I left work. Normally 5:33, I'm already in my car halfway out the door. halfway out the parking lot. But the conversation was stimulating. And every time he comes by, he doesn't come by every single day, but like he'll come in the morning when I see him coming, walking in, and he also has a tendency of forgetting his badge. So if he stands at the door and he's like, please let me in, I'm like, oh, you forgot your badge again. Look at you. Sad and pitiful. Oh, hello, baby. He's beginning to scoot a little more, which means I have to take him to the ED. Probably next month, early next month. But definitely before the end of the year. So back to the conversation that I was talking about. So that's what's going on. So I am really attracted to this dude's mind. I am like loving the way he thinks because he's a thinker. And I can hold a conversation, an intelligent, intellectual conversation. I don't want it to come off like I'm a snob and I'm like superior and my nose is all up here. No, no, no. No, no. No, no, no. But I don't want somebody to dumb down a conversation with me. I want to elevate the conversation. Like, for example, on PLJ, the radio station that I listen to. Apparently, there was something on the internet regarding Willow, Will Smith's daughter and Jada Smith's daughter, Willow. She apparently was talking about something, and they didn't, the people on the radio didn't understand what she was talking about. The conversation before they had reached that topic of Willow Smith, was having something to do with Billy Joel. Okay, like Billy Joel is the New Yorker of all New Yorkers and this and that. And I think Billy Joel had stood up for Taylor Swift in regards to something. And then the next conversation, the next topic was Willow Smith had talked about something. And I forget what the actual conversation was about, but it was in depth. And I'm thinking, okay, they're going to talk about this. And the DJ host was like, seeing that we don't understand what she's talking about, let's go back to talking about Billy Joel. And I was so disappointed because you are dumbing down the conversation for your demographic. You don't have to spend the entire rest of your airtime talking about what she said, but at least try to understand what it was she was talking about. Instead of being scared or making yourself look stupid, you rather talk about, oh, well, yeah, let's go back to Billy Joel and Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian and all that. Yeah, let's just dumb down the conversation on the radio. It's bad enough that music is dead as it is, and you keep playing the same 5 songs over and over again. When it comes to actual conversation, let's not elevate the conversation. Let's talk about the most base things. Let's talk about, so-and-so's penis or Kim Kardashian and her butt. Things that are so stupid. Like, why are we focusing on that? I'm not talking about we need to all talk like Stephen Hawking. We are never all going to have the brain that man has, okay? Despite his disability. We are never all going to have that brain. But can we at least elevate the conversation to something other than penis and butt and sex and this and clothes and even cosmetics? I like talking about cosmetics. My videos are specifically about cosmetics, but you see me talking about other things as well. I'm not always talking about, well, this is the color of the year, and this is the such and such, and this is what it's supposed to look like. And I talk about it, and then I move on. And that's how a conversation goes. It doesn't stay on one particular topic. It gradually moves on to something else. But the fact that they didn't even want to touch upon what Willow Smith was talking about totally disappointed me. And that's why our society is the way it is, because, all you have on television is sex and sex and sex and sex. Europeans don't even talk about sex that much. We're the only, in the United States, we're the only people, Americans, who are so obsessed with sex. No matter what it is. Every comedy has to have a sexual joke. Everything has to be a sexual agenda. Everything has to be a sexual innuendo. Why? That's really where our mind is at. The bottom half of our body all the time. We can't open up a book. We can't talk about Tolstoy. We can't talk about music, Chopin. We can't talk about elevate your way of thinking. Open your mind, expand it to other than the Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber. And look, I like talking about celebrity gossip as much as the next person, but I don't wake up talking about it. I don't go to sleep talking about it. It doesn't surround me 24/7. There are other things in the world. There are other places other than the United States that you can travel to. Expand your mind. Expand your experiences. I am not the most well-versed person on this planet. I am not the most well-traveled. But I have left Queens. I've gone to other places. I've gone to other states. I've gone to other countries. While you are young and vital, I can't express this strong enough. While you can, in your youth, before a whole bunch of responsibility comes your way, take a plane, go somewhere. Just go somewhere. Or drive a car. If you want to have a road trip, go outside of your state. But take a plane. Go outside of the United States. If you can. If you can. If you can. Or save up for it. Save 2 years for it. To go to Europe. Or go to China. Or go to Japan. Or go to Sweden. Go to the Netherlands. Go to Ireland. Go to Asia. Go to, not places that are dangerous, but go and see the world. I have not seen the world, but I have gone to Haiti. I've gone to Bermuda. I've gone to Rhode Island. I've gone to Vermont. I've gone to England. I've gone to France. Expand your mind. It will elevate your conversation in life because you now have more to talk about. Okay, that's where my mind is at today. I'm sorry. I'm not funny today. I'm probably boring half of you. Probably half of you have already clicked off. But that's where my mind is at today. So that's it. That's all I have to say before it goes into 30. I am done. Okay, this was Lips of the Day, Look of the Day. That's it. That's all I have for you. I love you. I love my YouTube family. Hit me up. Let me know what you think. And I will talk to you tomorrow. It is 3 down, 2 more to go, people. I love you. Bye now.